to everybody already. You have to do the whole thing again. Right.
Okay.
We'll just pretend the last 5 minutes never happened, alright?
Okay.
And we'll start again. Go on, Lardy. Start again. Right, here we go. Alright, hello Johnny Enigma, hello Gavin Lloyd, hello Patrick Jones, Melia, loads of people online. And Paul Coles, Gary, Alan Griffiths. Slightly bizarre start today. Here we go. We're off and running, second time lucky. Auntie Mitchell, hello Auntie, hello Alan. Thank you much again for the swords. North Dad Hugh. Oh, we're getting the full version this time. Nigel James, hello Meg, hello Myrick. We got so much tonight. Tons of stuff to get through. How many people have put Welsh on their census? Oh yeah, how many people haven't done their census yet? It's supposed to be in today, okay? Just a reminder. And next week the clocks do go forward an hour. Alright, so the sound is now working. Everyone okay now? Guess the song. I hope people know this one. Strange sense of deja vu. Evening all, and evening Michelle over in Bulgaria. Yes, that's right William Arnie's welcomed us to the family. Name that tune you one. Is that the music from Young Frankenstein? Yay, very good Arnie, well done. Dio, and have a pint.
Grazie.
Oh yeah, well we're a bit struggling tonight because we couldn't do any, still grieving after yesterday. Just shaking off my slightly feeling a bit rough today after last night. So it couldn't be anything Welsh or French, could it? So there we go. Anyway, got stacks of stuff on tonight. Absolutely can't wait to show it all to you all. And I'm also looking out for... Oh, hang on. There's another computer running here so I can see the comments. Where's my support team? Come on, Arnie, producers. We'll have the comments up on there so I can look for suggestions. Okay. All right. So this introduction... I'm going to do it, so dive straight in. I mean, we have got a little clip there from Alan. It's actually from...
Look what it says.
Welcome to the Windows Family came up on the screen. That is weird.
Just coincidence.
That's weird. We just played Welcome to the Family there. For those who are wondering, it's the Godfather theme, okay? I think most people know that. Hang on, I think I need to see the comments a bit first. So I can see who's around and get a feel for it. Because I've got to go through what's on tonight. Right, hang on. Let me just... Right, I'll stay there so you can see me hopefully now. Right, okay. So we got... Lots of roundup things. I was going to do. Someone asked about doing the name of Cymroglyphics. I'm going to show that. If you are new tonight, welcome aboard and welcome again all the familiar regular faces. This fantastic ongoing support is growing and growing. It's brilliant. It's a real highlight of my week. Anyway, I love. We do this on Sunday evening. I'm amazed how many people watched. So thank you for that ongoing support. It's fantastic. And if you are new, what you'll discover is Sunday evening. We'll try and do. Is a roundup all the things going on with Britain's Hidden History sort of project. And what the project's all about is a lot of it's inspired by the work of Wilson and Blackett. And from that then, once you start going into their work and discovering how much of British history is just been almost like deleted or disappeared from the world of history books and schools and universities. And there's this whole world of history which we don't get to see. It's not talked about, it doesn't get on the media, so we can delve into that. And it's not like just making stuff up or imagination. There is tons and tons and tons of evidence and records, and as Alan Wilson says, we're actually rather than be a dark ages or there's no records about ancient British history, it's the best recorded history in the world probably. It's phenomenal. So this goes all the way back to ancient links to Middle East and to Egypt and to migrations, and I can trace the languages through it, and all the way through that then how Christianity came first to Britain before it went to Rome, and then you got all those stories and how the Holy Family married into the British ruling family, so they claim a holy descent, the myth of the Romans invading, the myth then of this glorious Anglo-Saxon invasion. All that comes into it, then the glorious stuff, the exciting, the poster boy looking at King Arthur II. Alright, so that's a very quick summary to what we do. Yeah, 1,460 over subscribers. Yes, almost 1,500. Imagine that. So that's fantastic news. And people watching more every week. So this week I've got a bunch of things to go through. One of which is, I'm not spending long on Cymroglyphics, But Di asked during the week, how do I do my name? And how do I do my my partner's name? So I'm just going to show those quickly to give you an idea for it, because the book is out. Then there's those new stamps. You see that for King Arthur? There's something about the Brittany link. We've got a photo challenge. And then interview with Alan Wilson. It's actually from just over a year ago. And you might recognise it. Anyway, it's worth seeing again, where Alan Wilson talks a bit about history and what a nice overview, really, of what we're doing, and just words of wisdom from the great man. And then what else we got then? Other bits and pieces. Something else from Robert Landon about the raising water levels. So I don't know if you saw it this week, but one of the things I was really pleased to do was have a chat with Yvonne Whiteman. Or Yvonne. My mother's name was Yvonne. Some people call her Yvonne because she's from Kent. And other people say Yvonne. So there you go, whichever you prefer.
Can you put a link up for the swords? Alan wants to try win one back.
Alan wants to try win his sword back. Yes, I'm going to try. I need to put them. I do apologise. There's been a delay with the raffle. The swords will be going up on raffle. I haven't got it ready. I do apologise. What I'm going to do and talk about it now as soon as the film. The delay is I haven't done decent photographs. Just been out and about all week, and I do apologise for that. So I'll get a photograph today. I'll get the raffle up, and then I'll officially launch it next Sunday. All right. So I do apologise. What's going on in Bristol? I have no idea. So I haven't done the swords yet. How's Alan? How's he keeping? Yeah, good question. That's from Michelle, who appears on here as expat. Alan, I spoke to Alan 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to put that conversation up. He's only on the phone, so it's audio.
Only like 2.5 second lag.
Okay, well you can see how he is. He's fine. He's fine. As you get older, as well, what I find is as in most old people, and I'm, I've had a lot of experience with old people the last few years with my parents and everything. So you have to kind of get him warmed up to get speaking. That's all. So he starts off a bit slower than he would have done. But, 10 minutes into conversation, you're up and running again. And he's not so interested in talking about the academic stuff so much. But he does enjoy a chat, and he's desperate for us to keep doing what we're doing. Keep going with the work. And I do ask for these. I put this request out every week. Please email me with messages for Alan, and Baron, Tony. Cards, messages, questions, anything like that. I will print them out and send them. I'm happy to do that. I send a bundle up almost every week. And the other bit of good news is that so that was 2 weeks ago. Then this week, a few days ago, Baron called me, and we're hoping, let's not jump any guns, as you know things are with on-off with the restrictions and all that stuff, that I can go up there and we can do some recording. And partly it'll be for the channel, and partly then it'll be for the Megalithomania, which I'm a speaker at. I want to show some of Alan Wilson. It's supposed to be with Alan as well. If we can pull it off, it'll be great. So keep looking on that. And also I'm hoping to have the proof copies of Britain's Hidden Christianity back in time for that visit in a few weeks' time, and get some signed by the great men themselves. So there we go. Thanks for that question. That's good. Any other questions? Please fire away. All right, we're all set to go with questions. Love questions. When we did the first few episodes, this was tons of questions. You spend the whole evening on my on my edge of my nerves. I wonder what the next question was going to be. So I guess we know the regular stuff, yeah. All right, so there's Mr. Wilson. I thought it looked quite funny when I sort of cut this out of the video, but he does look like the Godfather, doesn't he? We should put that on the screen, Arnie, when you played the Godfather music. He's got the hands out, in there. Ah, dear. Listen to this kind of thing. Right, okay, so just want to share this photograph quickly. Catherine Bester put this up on the Facebook group, just a nice one. I almost used this on the front cover because, I can't remember where it was in Wales, but I just like the way you get the... If you look, can you see my mouse? You got the three shadows here, the Awen sign. So you've actually got the rainbow and the Awen on one. It looks rather beautiful. Right, anyone else got any questions here? Okay. All right, let's fire on then. Here's another funny one. I quite liked it. I don't know why I started these. Oh yeah, I know why I put this one up. Yeah. Are we there yet? I've got to go to the bathroom, how much farther, I'm going to be sick, all this kind of stuff. And there's a guy in Bishop's mitre in Irish colours, St. Patrick driving the snakes out of Ireland. Because this, of course, it was St. Patrick's Day just a few days ago. So, a reminder...
St. Patrick's, not Pink Patrick's.
So a reminder that St. Patrick Identified is available. Please, that's the book, Victor Van Orton, which was Barham's sort of pen name for this one. Gives it a bit more gravitas, and he wants to start a different writing career. But I say you spent the last 40 years building up the name of Bill Wilson and Blackett. People want to see it, you know. So it is Baron Blackett, and I'll try and get him to sign some more copies as well. Do they watch the show? No, they don't live. But what I started doing, I download the shows onto digital format, and then onto DVDs. And then when I go up there, put the DVDs in the DVD player. Unfortunately, we've got the sad thing where rather becoming a bit addicted to TV, as old people sometimes do. And I put the telly on and watch rolling news, and it's rather sad to see, you know, one of the great minds of the last few generations watching telly. So I think next time I go up there, I think the best thing I could do for Britain's Hidden History is take a hammer and put it through the TV. But there you go. Probably saying too much on general view, but Alan's fine, yeah. Right, okay, so if we'll go to that, we'll go to the camoglyphics.com website, click up onto the shop, and you will see it, alright? You can see all the books, and we got new merchandise as well, which I'm hoping to show at the end if we get time, okay? Right, here we go. We're straight in with, I thought, but a little bit of Cymroglyphics. I'll keep it short, okay? Now, we've got a copy of the book. Oh, excuse me, sorry, not be well prepared tonight. Where's the new books? Right, I can only see the episode, the first editions. Can you see a copy of the second edition Cymroglyphics on? They're usually around here, aren't they? I'm usually working on them. That's probably... Oh, there we are. Here's one. Phew. Right, so if those people not aware of it, this is how you... Wilson and Blackett worked out back in the 90s. And before that, and here's an special appeal. There's someone they talk about called Reg Stewart, who was an old guy from Canton. And he had, in his own spare time, when he's retired, he's a railway worker or something, when he's retired, he started going up with this idea that the Welsh language ties in with the Egyptian language, and it could be the language behind the hieroglyphs, which might sound a bit crazy. Hang on, I'll just go full screen. I'll leave that on screen. But he was already on the way, and I've quoted him a couple of times in this book. Now, someone, about a month ago, sent me a message saying they remember this old guy, and he produced a 30-page booklet, which I've tracked down, got the ISBN number and all that, but I can't get a copy. It's called Welsh Pharaohs. It's only 30 pages. It's in the National Library of Wales. I mean, I can't believe you're taking 10 minutes to scan in 30 pages and make it digitally available. But I can't get it. I put in library requests for it, you know, with restrictions like, I don't know what's going on. I can't get a copy. If anyone can get a copy, please, make it a PDF, send it through to me, or anything. I'll buy a copy. I'll pay good money for it. It's all part of this story. Because I'll just give a little bit of background, because not everyone knows about it. Way back in the 1790s, so it's well over 200 years ago, 230 years ago, people spotted that the syntax, the word order, and the structure of the ancient Egyptian language, the language behind the hieroglyphs, has enormous number of similarities with Welsh. So you've got the same number of vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and W and Y seem to be vowels. That seemed to work. Although I didn't have much information to work on. But what you will find, lots of words seem to have Welsh links. And one of my favourites is, have you heard of a sadoof? I should look up for the graphics of this, and I'll show a picture. What is it? It's like a sort of, hang on. It's in the book here, isn't it? I'll show a picture from the book. But anyway, it's like a sort of pendulum effect, where what you do is you have a counterweighted pole, so that you can lift water from the river. Maybe there's a little drawing I did for the book. It looks a bit like that. Okay, there's a shadoof. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see it. Now the word shadoof in Welsh sha is Old Welsh for a sack. And what's surprising is doof. And I looked this up as well. If you go into your old 1688 dictionary, and this we do you can see the word for water is dŵr. All right, we all know dŵr. Well, if you don't speak Welsh, you might not know it. But if you look in the full translation of dŵr, you'll find we also have there, dŵr, D-W-F-R, dŵr. Can you see a little bit too close to the camera? Dŵr. So it's not always been dŵr, it's doof. So this is one of those kind of words. So a shadoof is the Welsh for a sack of water. And there's loads of these words in Egyptian. Like Pharaoh is Pharaoh and is the high powers. So they spotted all these things. They spotted the grammar. They worked out it's a good chance that if you applied the Welsh language, you can then maybe read hieroglyphs somehow. But it never happened. In the 1840s, you had von Bunsen, these German academics, all talking about, the Welsh language is an ancient Assyrian language. It's a couple of thousand years old. 3,000 years old at least. Like all Indo-European languages, it's come from ancient Assyria. But all the others have gone through migrations and population movements and wars and all sorts. Whereas Wales, this corner, particularly in the south of Wales, has been very isolated on the edge of Europe. And the language has been jealously guarded, is how von Bunsen put it. So that's how this language has been. So a bizarre idea that when you're speaking Welsh, you're actually speaking the same language some ancient Assyrians did. So how weird is that? Right, now, back with this whole thing again, because it's really easy. You can buy the book. It takes about 10 minutes to get the hang of the basics. Now, once you've got the basics, what you find is that there's a dictionary in the back. So you can look at the symbol, find out what that symbol means. I'll tell you what, let's put these back on the screen again. That's easier. So one of the famous ones you got there is a bird. All right, the A, which you can't see because my face is too big on there. How am I going to change this? With great difficulty. Because you have to, well, I can't do it without you watching me change it. This is weird now, because of the way the hotkeys work. So hang on a second. Hang on. Nope, try again. I got to come here. You're going to watch me change this now. There you go. You can see the magic. This is like behind the curtain, in The Wizard of Oz, looking behind the curtain now. Right, that one goes back on top. I go back to me, and I flick it over. Is it going to work? Where are we? I don't know. Which one? There, right. Hopefully, you're now going to get me a little bit smaller in the corner. You can see it. Yay! How about that? There you go. Getting the hang of it. I think it's 147 shows. Slowly getting the hang of it. So, what people don't realise when they're normally doing hieroglyphs is that they are words, not letters. This is the key. Once you know they're words, it's easy, all right? So, like, look at the A of David, because the A, the second one. Can you see my mouse? Just about. Got a bigger cursor. Anyway, so the point of that is then, it's a bird, all right? So you see this bird all over the place. When you look at the great cartouches like Alexandros and Cleopatra, you'll see two of these. And they just think it means an A because it spells Cleopatra. But no. Names are a weird thing. Because what you do when you get a sentence and the initials spell the name out. All right? So this one here, for example, is a bird, which in Welsh you got adar, is an eagle, or aderin. So adar gives you the root adar, adavo. It's the same root, which means pledged. So you go through all these. These aren't the best examples, but but what I've done here is spell David. So there you go. So you got this guy who came to see us. So what you do then, so if you want to spell the name David, or any name, say the name begin with, what you need to do then is go to your dictionary and any word beginning with a D sound, all right? So in the dictionary you'll find how many D words we got. A couple of pages of them. Let's try and give you an idea. Yeah, D's not. So I think these are all D words. And you got a couple more. These are all words beginning with a D sound, all right? They're all like. Let's give some examples. Need my glasses. So you have. So you could choose, for example, you could do a leaf, which is what they do on some of the pictograms. You'll see these Egyptian hieroglyphs. They have leaves for ears because you got dal, and that's to hold or keep, for example. That's a D sound. So what we're going to do now, so we found for David, we found one with a D sound, then one with an A sound, with a V sound, one with an sound, and one with a d sound. And then what you can do then, if you go all the way across the far right, you get these words which make, if you choose the right words, you can make a sentence out of it. So David is like a sort of war leader, pledged or promised, and he succeeded to be with the truth and pleasing. You can make that into a sentence using the Welsh syntax, okay? So I've rushed through it a bit, but it gives you a kind of a feel for it. Gavin Lloyd, I don't mind being the wizard. I can be the wizard from Oz, but you're not being Dorothy. I had you down as... no, never mind. Toto. What's going on here? Why are the two Ds different? Right, well, this is the thing here. Good question. You can choose any D. And this is what has foxed the mainstream people trying to read hieroglyphs for ages. Because they think each one's a different letter. It's not. It's a word. It's a word. So the reason we've chosen this one here is the first one with a thorn on it. I can make a nice, pretty cartouche. So you can have the birds standing on the thorns, things like that. But the reason is, we're using thorns at the beginning gives us war leader. Whereas the one at the end gives us pleasing. We don't want to say war leader twice. So you'll see this in most of the main names. Let's try to think of one off the top of my head. I know there's one with the main ones. Cleopatra, I think it's got a double in it. And they're both different. And this one of these situations, they think, well, why is that different? Alexandros, I think. Oh, gosh. Anyway, you'll find... Oh, Alexandros, there's two S's. Alex, Andros. So the S in the middle, it means one. They use one hieroglyph for that S and use another one for the S at the end. Because what you're really doing is writing a sentence. You're writing a sentence. And the names are like an acronym. So, or you can have one symbol. With David, we're quite lucky. Because in Welsh, you got Devad. Davad is sheep. And then Dav sounds like David. So it's bringing. And you got all the sort of David connotations, all that kind of thing. All right. So I'll just do one. Because David's partner is Dawn. So we could do dawn as one word. Because there is a word for dawn in Welsh. And it's this symbol, as you can see, in the hieroglyphs. You can see the sun coming up over behind the hill, which is dawn. All right, and then we got words for dawn, dyddio, gwawr. But if you look at gwawr, can mean noble agreement. I don't know why I've changed this to gudd here. That's an old one. Dyddio is like a Cardiff. Dyddio is a mutual agreement or to make a peace or something. So we could do dawn that. But the trouble is, none of these actually say dawn. One says, if you just saw that symbol on its own, you'd either be saying dyddio or you'd be saying gwawr. You wouldn't be saying dawn, all right? So to make it into a name, what we have to do is put the letters, or the sounds of d or n, and put a ring around it, make a cartouche, then you know it's a name, so you can read a sentence and you can read initials. So here's an example here. So we've got, sorry they're a bit all over the place, but here we have, the first one is a do or a d, and you can see that's a little, they're not there. So what you can do is work out that. The Welsh word is donio, then donio means given. So we can say given. The next one, this symbol you might see before, it's a hieroglyph, that's a water clock. You haven't got to learn all these, all right? They're all in the dictionary, and you can work them out for yourself. You can just work them out. If you can work out what the picture is, you can work out what the Welsh word is. So a water clock, so it could be the top one here, cloch. And then that could give us the root word for clodfwraig, which is celebrate. Or it could be the passing of time, okay? But we'll go with celebrate. So far we've got the d sound, the or sound, you want the n. And then you've got this sky symbol. Now, if anyone's done hieroglyphs at all, they'll recognise this. It's used all the time in hieroglyphs. And one of the most famous ones, for example, is Nefertiti, or Nefertiti. And what Nefertiti has is this sky here, as you see up next to Nev, which is Nev, which is the... We've got the heaven, never is heaven or sky, but it would seem to be heaven because if it's with Nefertiti, okay? So never, and then you've got you are in Welsh, you are, which if you remember from previous ones, it is like a little cake, not one of these cakes. This is just there to tease me because I can't eat it. But if you have a T, so what you'll see for Nefertiti, I could put this in as a sky with two Titian laps, T, never. TT. So you say it. We also know this never means heavenly. You are, and if you repeat something, it's twice, so it's doi is do. like same in French, you have deux, un, deux, trois. Deux is Dieu, the God. Same in Welsh, un, doi, tree, and doi and do. Do is God. So when you put two of something, you mean a God. So Nefertiti, you've got the heaven, godly. Godly of heaven you are. So it's like a sort of a nice endearment kind of name. So Nefertiti translates lovely in Welsh. So what you could do for dawn is put these three symbols together and make a nice little cartouche out of it. Alright, so I hope that's been helpful a little bit. So thank you for that, Di. Thank you for asking and for Dawn. And I'll maybe do some more of these. I don't want to make it too long a lessons because not everyone's into it. But you'll find it very easy in the book. What it starts off with, it just shows you basic words from the Welsh words. My God, so I'm going to show the beginning. Pom, 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 pom. I think I was going to give the first 3 chapters away free. If anyone asks me, I'll just send it to you as a PDF because you just get the hang of it so easily. There's a good example. See, if you think of it as an English sentence, hang on, it's got a bit bigger. This is my little jokey sentence I put in the beginning. This is called the rebus principle, by the way, for all who's technically minded. Can anyone guess what these 3 symbols represent? What am I trying to say here? Next, make sure it's going left to right. Yeah, it's going the other way. Hang on, the sheep. That's right, yeah. No, the eye is first. Eye first. That's it. Yeah, anyone have some guesses what that means? In English, this is now. If you do in English, a sounds like game. That's how it works in Welsh, right? It's got to be a sounds like game. So you've got I. So it sounds like I. And then if you look, this sheep has got udders. So it's a U. So I. And then the heart, love. So I love you. So it's all done by drawing something. It's easy to say, and it sounds like what you really want to say. And it's exactly the same with the Welsh in doing Cymroglyphics. And I haven't explained it very well tonight. I am suffering a bit after yesterday's disaster in the rugby, okay? Heartbreaking. All right, so there you go. So I'll try and do it a bit better on that next time, okay? Yeah, you can use them separate, yeah. You're quite right. I love sheep. There you go. I love David. I love David. Very good. Yeah, that's the way to put it. With mint sauce. First tune now. Yeah, we did all catchphrases tonight. Yeah, I could put some more up and everything like that. Anyway, please get the book, support the work. All the revenue gets shared with Wilson and Blackett and helps keep us going. And I don't think you'll regret it. Anyway, all the feedback has been really good so far. Right, okay. 1 or 2 examples a weekly would bring greater understanding. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Gary. I'll keep it very, very short. Harry is also put on here. Can't avoid thinking of the biblical strong delusion. Do you mean the illusion with the sheep? Or just the delusion? Right, okay, just so I mention this one quickly. Moving on from Cymroglyphics. It's not a Cymroglyphic show. Right. This is wonderful, isn't it? This has anyone seen this set of stamps coming out? All about Arthur. Look at it, wonderful what they do with King Arthur. Look at this. So this is the sort of, what would you call this? This is like the... oh, my mind's gone blank. The ones that come much later. Mallory sort of version of Arthur. So you got Merlin the baby Arthur. Don't know where that comes into it. Arthur draws a sword from the stone. Gets his sword, Excalibur. Which he's already taken from the stone. Okay. Right, Arthur marries Guinevere. I love all the medieval looks. Gawain and the Green Knight. Knights of the Round Table. Sir Lancelot defeats the dragon. That's curious they put that on there. I don't think that was one of the main stories myself. Sir Galahad and the Holy Grail. Arthur battles Modred. And the death of King Arthur. So,
oh, cool.
Promoting the up-and-coming movie. What's that scandalous? Why is the Queen facing the wrong way? Yeah, good question. Yeah, Arthur draws a sword from the stone. And Arthur marries Guinevere. Arthur's pointing the wrong way, isn't the Queen's pointing the wrong way? Do you want to just tell me? Oh, got, anyway, so what we got here, the medieval armour. I think it's really fun to look through these, and now we could then, if you don't follow Britain's hidden history, what you find is the real reasons behind all these stories. Where Arthur was really born, the fact there's 2 Arthurs, and the famous one, King Arthur II, King of Glamorgan and Gwent, is the more famous, and the other one ends the one who fought the Romans originally. So it's an interesting set. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, it is curious. The death of King Arthur there on the last one on the UNE. That could be the scene where he's taken up the UNE River. Yeah, 'cause Yeah, it does look like it up there, doesn't it? 'Cause it's supposed to be a lake, I think, isn't it? He goes back. I don't know where he gets buried. Well, we know the historical. I don't know what the Mallory version of where he gets buried. So if we go through some of the examples here, I'd be very interested to see what people's ideas are for what the sword in the stone represents. I hope you can see it large enough. The second one there, Arthur drawing the sword from the stone. Because the idea I quite like was the one in the Bernard Cornwell books. If you ever read those, his Arthur trilogy. Used to be my favourite books in the whole world. I read them again and again until I realised, because I thought they were like more historical than the usual Arthur stories. And then you read Wilson and Blackett's, and unfortunately you can then never pick up the Bernard Cornwell ones again, because you realise that it's just so far from the real history and just nowhere near as good, apart from his brilliant storytelling and writing, of course. So what his version was, that when young Arthur got made king, they put the sword on a stone, and the king's champion walked around basically saying, come on, if you want to have a go, now's your chance. You know, it's a bit like at a wedding. You know, if anyone something to say it now, or forever hold your peace. It's a bit like that. So in the Bernard Cornwell books, the big champions walking around saying, you want to challenge the king? You fight me now. Pick the sword up. We'll get it on. And of course, no one does. So then he's unchallenged. So I quite like that. But something I prefer to think of. Oh, here we go. Hang on, let's look for some. I thought Arthur was so tough he couldn't be. Oh, there's loads of comments in here, brilliantly. What are we looking at here? Westminster regular. Oh, geoengineering homework. Yeah, can we try and keep off politics, please? Let's keep to the history. Right. So anyway, with the version I tend to go with is this idea. If you look at the history of the Cymry, and they go all the way back to Anatolia, well, one of the parts of history that ties in is the idea that the Hittites developed iron and started using iron weapons to fight against the Egyptians, for example. And that all comes from that sort of area, Anatolia, which is very much where the Luwians are supposed to have been with their metalworking culture, which I would suggest there's a very good chance that is the Cymry in Anatolia. So if they were the ones who started making iron, and from that steel swords and metal swords, well, if you know about the process of iron, you know you start with a stone, and you melt the stone to great temperatures, and then you can melt that. And that's where you make your iron, and you bang that, and that's where you get to make your swords from there. So so it could be some sort of to do with forging swords, or the secret, the magic, the fact that they're possibly the Cymry were the first people in the world to make iron weapons, and that could come from that. So that's the kind of version I quite like. Right, what we got there? Rites of succession, the sword being symbols. Gavin, he says the sword and the stone's a nod to the old days of blacksmiths and making swords, I was told. Yeah, it could well be, isn't it? If you take it originally from the stone, from the ore, that's what you're doing there, isn't it? So Arthur takes Excalibur. Any thoughts on that one? Because it's... I'm curious, actually, why the Queen's head's thrown around in a couple of these. I don't know. There's usually everything symbolic, isn't it? And also, doesn't it look like the young Queen's head rather than the older one? But maybe it's my imagination. Anyway, you see stuff everywhere, don't you? Right, so he's taking Excalibur from the lake. Now, what I would suggest here is, again, a bit like smithing the sword, where when you banged it and you've heated it and melted it, you then quelch it, like it's called, or quench, and into the water, and that's what makes it go hard. So I don't know, I'm just looking at that. Arthur marries Guinevere, okay. Now, interesting, the name Guinevere, if you notice, because in there, I think this is where we flick back possibly to Arthur 1. Because if you look at Arthur 1, he was part of the British invasion 388 into France through Gaul, smashing up everybody, huge battle at Soissons and Tours, and it was a siege of Paris. And when the siege was finally broken, the person who surrendered was called Genevieve, and she's the one who surrendered over and married Arthur, presumably to make a peace between the people. How about them onions? Throwing that in there is a bit of a random one. And that could be Genevieve, sounds like Guinevere, Right, so Gawain and the Green Knight. This now is all astrological. This is where you're coming from the Mabinogi, and not Mabinogi, if you're new to this. The Mabinogi is the real story, and it's got real characters on the ground, yes, but they are used in the way you might use characters in a play to show an astrological story, looking at the stars and everything. So this Sir Gawain and the Green Knight seems to have echoes all through stories in the countryside of this idea of a planet returning or an orbit returning. And this is not real people fighting here, although the artwork's rather cool on these stamps, I have to say. Right, then Knights of the Round Table. I need to speed up. And that's when we get then to the story you can read about Arthur II. And you'll find this in like Arthur, King of Glamorgan and Gwent, if you look in that book. By the way, the other bit's mostly in Artorius Rex. If you look at Arthur, King of Glamorgan and Gwent, then you'll see the idea of... Oh no, I forgot my Welsh for Round Table. Bwrdd Key, I think it is. Oh, and there's a place in Cernu where Alan Wilson thinks this is set up. Right, so what else we got here? The sword coming out of the mould. Yeah, that could be the water. The artwork of the Grail, mainly been inspired by the 1981 Excalibur film. Yeah, the artwork's really good, isn't it? And the stamps are beautiful, I have to say. Yeah, stone smelt metal sword. Yeah, I would go with that, John. Marshall. She's not facing the wrong way. She's on the wrong side of the stamp.
No, she is facing the wrong
Well, same thing, I think. Yeah.
The hand is on the wrong side.
Yeah, I would say both. Yeah, she's on the wrong side of the stamp. She's facing in, but she's not facing left to right, is she? Doesn't the Queen always face right to left on coins and stuff? Oh, anyway, never mind. Right, G. Fawkes refuses to look. Told him he can... Ooh,
I don't like that.
I don't understand that one, Harry. That's a bit... He can cause you to believe absurdities, can cause you to commit atrocities, etc. Well, it's a bit heavy for me on a Sunday evening on a family show. Right, so Lancelot defeats the dragon. Now, what is all that about? Has anyone got suggestions there, comments about the dragon? Because when we go through the story looking at the Wilson and Blackett version of history, and not just Wilson and Blackett, hey, they don't make this stuff up, all right? And Wilson and Blackett get all from historical records. You'll find loads of it in old historical books. I've got History of Wales there by Jane Bwrdd. Is it Bwrdd? Thank you. Fire in His Soul, Bethan, that is, isn't it? Thank you very much. Round Table, yes, thank you. Got this History of Wales by Jane Williams, I think it is. All these stories in there, and that was written in 1865. And then you go back to, the ancient documents and obviously all the older stuff, where it comes from. Okay, so the idea in all this then is that the dragon is, I would say, it's two things. One, you got representation of the comet that's supposed to come in 562 and destroyed this great civilization and left it a wasteland, which is when the court had to move over to Armorica, to Brittany, and then the Madoc went off on his journeys discovering North America, and the land is barren. And while it's barren, and while Arthur's out, Mordred, or Medraud, or Modrad, he's come and taken the throne, while Arthur's off doing whatever he's doing in Normandy and places. So the dragon would be the comet, but also you have to bear in mind, if you look at the Ark of the Covenant, that is guarded by the cherubs on top of it, which would seem to be a possibility of where the Welsh dragon comes from. In that you've got the people of the Covenant who are bringing the Ark to South Wales, and the dragon represents the cherubs, the frightening characters, the frightening birds anyway. And that ties in with the local legends, local stories. There's this great treasure under the hill. And if you're not aware of it, we've got the Ark of the Covenant and its symbol. And on top, well, it means the place of the Ark, basically. So there you go. So I think that ties in then with Sir Galahad and the Holy Grail. Where Alan Wilson would say that the Grail is the Holy Book. So that would be the agreement, the covenant. So in this case, the Ten Commandments may be carved onto stone inside the Ark, and that all comes together. And then after that's all been done, then we have Arthur battles Mordred, and then the death with the body possibly carried up the Owenny, as we show this. So there you go. This is destroying the dragon could be symbolic of destroying the true heirs to the throne. Ooh. So Galahad. Yeah, because the question then is, who is Galahad as well, isn't it? I think he's supposed to be the purest knight of them all, isn't it? So he could be an allusion to Noe, the son of Arthur, who actually died fighting against the Vandals, perhaps. So, sorry, Ross, do you know of the book by Hughes and Godwin, The Last of Elmet? No, I don't. And Harry Founsdale, thank you very much. And I'll make a note of that, because I want to do a full episode on Elmet. Johnny Booker, if you're watching again, mate, is it your last week of hiding now? He's been doing this mad, crazy lockdown workout thing. He's doing like thousands of repetitions with dumbbells. He's about 6'4", 16 stone, but still, if you don't get this an helmet done, I'm coming for you, Johnny boy. So what's the helmet book called? They have made ways to romanticize Arthur as a heroic singular character. It's true. Yeah, they have. That's Warren there, isn't it? What was the name of this book, please? Hughes and Godwin. All right, I'm going to get Hughes and Godwin. Thank you very much. Elmet, for those who might not have heard of it, I mentioned it quite a lot, is an area north of England which is supposed to remain British as opposed to Anglo-Saxon or Jute or whatever until maybe the 8th or even 9th centuries. It's crucial, absolutely crucial, because you can show there the continuation and also other dates, which other things are supposed to be Anglo-Saxon can be shown to be British, and also, as you might know, we've been doing Sutton Who all week, and there's more episodes of that to come, so please have a look at that as well, okay? Right, okay, let's whiz through. Just a quick one then, because I do want to see Alan Wilson. It's almost up to 9. There is a lion statue up the mound. Not up the mound itself, but you're right, Daniel Jones. There's a lion stone. I don't know what good distance it is, but it looks about half a mile away, with a lion pointing directly at where the ark is buried. And the lion is supposed to represent the Lion of Judah. It's very ancient, so imagine that, okay? Photos by... poems by Ted Hughes. Anyway, sorry, this, if you didn't see it, is Ken Follett is interesting, because Ken Follett is a great writer. He's fantastic. You know, Pillars of the Earth, which is this huge, thick book about building cathedral over generations. He's written tons of books. They're all great. He's a Cardiff boy, and he's heard that there's this cathedral in need of restoration in Brittany, and he's made a donation towards it. He's given all the royalties from something. I'll put the links in the description. You can check out the full story. It's the proceeds from one of his books. And one of the reasons he's done this is to publicise the links between Wales and Brittany. Because this is in the same way as that what can we put it? Let's just call them non-English languages in Britain are getting suppressed and deleted. The same's happening in France, of course. Breton has been prejudiced against for generations. They're reintroducing the language, and hopefully it's the rumours I've heard, unfortunately, seem to be that similar things happens with Welsh. What they're bringing back is not the same as the old version of Breton. Sad, isn't it? Same way as we're not getting taught the old version of Welsh. So language like Cornish, I don't know how that's doing. In Scotland, there's this huge thing, Gaelic, push the native tongue.
I thought there was
Except Gaelic is not the native tongue. Yeah, there's the older British or Brittonic, or even which is much closer to Welsh, which is what a lot of Scotland, like Strathclyde, Glasgow, all those places would have spoken. So there we are. Right, hi Ross. Were these dragons gold, and does the dragons on the crest relate to this? Hang on. I'm not sure which dragon you're referring to there. I've heard from people that have been up the mound that there's one up on the mound too. Oh, I don't know about that. If there's a lion statue up there, I haven't been up to the top. It's, obviously, we're not allowed to go up there, from what I've heard. Anyway, quick quiz question. I put this up on Britain's Hidden History. And, if you go to the Facebook group, you'll find loads about... I've done videos as well about... You can go and see the Lionstone, Ark of the Covenant. We've got some great, drone pictures from David and things like that. Loads on the channel, and I'll do another one about it soon. Does anyone know who this is? Because it's from the dig. This is the dig that was done at St. Peter's Church back in... I think it was 86. It could have been 92, but I think it's the 86 one. No, I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes to look at it. Well, not a couple of minutes, a few seconds. Because I've had a few suggestions. And someone who's known Wilson and Blackie for about 30 years, I've had a lot of funny ones. Eddie Shoestring and all sorts of things. All those 80s and 90s classics. Does anyone have a quick look, quick guess? God, the lag's bad on this tonight. By the time people type it in.
It's like 1 second.
Is it? Oh, it takes a while to...
Good luck, then.
Okay. Yeah, see, it's long. Yeah, okay, a couple of seconds. Anyway, because one person suggested this might be Baron Blackett. I can't see that.
No.
I don't think so. Philip, if you're out there, we'll see how many people agree with you in the comments, all right? There are chimneys and chimneys all over England, as well as Wales. Yeah, okay. I think it's right. Okay. Oh yeah, the Bob Evans video. So hang on a second now.
Oh, dodgy BBC reporter.
Ah, well, there we are. What can you do? Can't take too much notice of them. Right, hang on. Let's bear with me. I got to find. Here we go. And I asked for people. I love people to send in stuff. Thank you very much. Now, before I go into this, just want to say what. Right, hang on. Let's put this back on screen. Oh, hang on. Is this the wrong one? Oh, this is the second one, isn't it? All right, I'm going to come back to me, and I'm going to have to say something for a minute or two. How did I get the previous one? How did I get the previous video? The previous video is quite... I might do is put Bob's videos together. I really want to show it. How am I going to do this? Where did the downloads go? Hang on 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Because I was only sent this a few minutes before the show started, so I haven't had a chance to get... Come on. Downloads. Downloads. Working on it, it says. Bear with me. Yeah, because people can send in videos and pictures, please. Get the conversation going. Yeah, remember to click on the like button. Thank you, William. Right, here it is. I got it. Let's make sure I get these right order. 49.55. There we are. Yeah, 10.2. I got this. Right, okay. Hang on. I need to pause that. Pause. Where's the pause button? What Bob Evans will be doing, because one thing I want to mention tonight, because we are right in the middle of the equinox, yeah, when the day and the night are the same. Spring equinox, yay. So next week the clocks will go forward an hour, alright? So be prepared for that. Don't miss the first hour of the show. So this time of year is very important, because if you look at all the Druidic books and the old Druidic records, this is a crucial day when the day lengthens more than the night. They're the 4 crucial days of the year. So you've got the 2 solstices, so you've got the longest day and the shortest day, and the 2 equinoxes. So this is an equinox. I think I said the wrong word just then. An equinox with the day and the night the same, equal. Alright, so Bob's trying to work out the alignments. We're putting together a video on all this, which means getting up at dawn and all that kind of thing again. Arnie, if you could check the sound for me when this comes through, because I won't be able to hear it. Otherwise you get feedback off the microphone and stuff. So it's only very short, one and a half minutes, okay? This is up by Clutter. And that would help if you could see it, wouldn't it? Alright, okay. Good spot on. Just checking. Just making sure he's on the ball there.
You are then, Ross.
Oh, here we go.
That's Abbott Dairy.
Yeah.
Down below. Aberbeeg in the distance.
Aberbeeg
That's
up
the
there.
little mountain you can see in the distance. Zoom in for you. Make the radio mast out. Right in. You can make the shape of the mountains and the spurs of the mountain up there. So you're coming up into Cymroglyphics Valley now. And the sun should be coming up somewhere there. According to that.
Yeah, so Bob's working out the alignments. He's only filmed yesterday.
So there.
I'm trying to work out the alignments.
So
And the idea is then to...
A bit further up the valley a bit. But we're on a mound here.
so this is a viewing point.
And there's definitely one mark on the map. Down in that area. And that's the Arrow Mountain there. All the way up. Early start today, buddy. Enjoy the rugby. I'll post a bit more. All the best.
Enjoy the rugby. Yeah, it was going so well, that video was. Thanks, Bob. But,
Just as well play the Marseille on it.
yeah, this is before the rugby. We recorded it yesterday, okay? So, anyway, the point of this was, it's not easy just to show in 1 minute like that, but what Bob was trying to do there was show how he's working out all the alignments, because then the equinox, we find these mounds and viewing platforms. It's only by walking around you can see some of them. And you can walk out where the notch or the mark on the hill is, where the mound is, and if you can see the sun lining up where it should be, it's a pretty convincing argument that is a viewing point for working out time of year and stuff. Which I would suggest nothing to do with farming. There's lots of better ways of farmers working stuff out. One I saw the other day was dandelions. Apparently dandelions don't come out until it's time to sow. So yeah, corn. So if it's a cold winter, dandelions come out later. If it's a warm time, they come out earlier. There's loads of things. There's no fixed date for a farmer, right? This ludicrous idea, they did it so they know when to plant their crops. You don't plant your crops the same day every year. Some winters you get a really wet time, you've got to let the soil dry out a bit. Sometimes you get freezing cold, you've got to let it defrost. You get really cold. Some Marches the ground's still frozen. And then like this year, we seem to be getting a nice warm March. So no farmer works like that. It's for far more important, significant reasons, okay? Right, now then, bit you're all waiting for, I'm sure. Hang on, let's get a little break a second for me, because we're going to see the merchandise and gift ideas I'll come back to. Just to let you know, please go and have a look at the store. We've got mugs and t-shirts and all sorts of something that looks fantastic, all right? Looks really good. This is from the great man. When I was up there a few days. This is back in 2019. This is only about a year and a half ago. It feels like 20 years ago. It's crazy. And, well, I'll just let him tell you himself the best, I think. If it'll play, please.
It's nonsense about a little village in North Wales. They make a prince up there, and all the people live in South Wales.
Yes.
The King of England doesn't live up in Cumberland, or he doesn't live down in Cornwall either, you know. He lives in where it's all at.
Where the people are,
They wouldn't
yes.
be able to control the country otherwise. I mean, they have to be where the central government is where the people are, you know. And
God. Sorry.
people of South Wales, if you read the Roman records, were some of the toughest people they ever encountered. They had a hell of a job with them. And then they suddenly realised that they were common stock, you see. Same people. The Brits are emigrants from Troy, and the Romans are from Troy. Aren't they?
Yes, yes.
You know, they fled, you know, they were driven out of Troy and set up Rome. And then others came here, set up in Britain. And that's what the histories say. And that's why when they got hold of King Caradoc and took him to Rome with his family, there were huge celebrations, apparently, according to the records.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole of Rome turned out to greet him. Well, if they captured another king in another country, took him to Rome and cut his head off.
Like Vercingetorix or something like that.
Yeah, but
strangled him, wasn't it?
Caradoc, he was there for 7 years with his family, and they all intermarried with the top Romans, you know.
Up on the Palatine Hill seemed to have a lovely place as well, didn't they? Some sort of almost a palace, really, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. So, you know, the story is
Sorry,
never
folks.
enthusiastically told in Britain because it ain't English, you see. It's about Welsh. And they're not enthusiastic. But I think it has to do with something in this royal family. I believe so. No, we're not against them or for them. It's nothing to do with it.
Just recording events, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's one thing we talked about as well, wasn't it? Trying to keep this as and whatever the word is, non-political as possible,
Yeah.
and concentrate on the record and say what the record says, and
Yeah.
rather than a political tool.
Well, you know, I can tell you during the war,
Mic check.
the first one was a sailor knocked the door, and he was a distant cousin of my father from up here. My father had been taken down to Wales when he's 4 years old,
All right, he's just turned up.
and yet they still had family links, and they still wrote, you know, and he'd phoned us in Cardiff, and then others came, you know, airmen and all sorts, you know, who were from the family up here. So these links were there, you know. They didn't know what about it. I never considered myself 100% Welsh, because I can't in a way. My dad's born up here and he went down to Wales. You know?
Yeah.
But it's better to have a ambivalent view in my
Yes,
opinion.
try and be objective, isn't it?
Yeah, it's better to see it as it was, you know. The fact that I'm doing Welsh history, and I've been accused of being a Welsh nationalist, I don't think so. You know, and he certainly isn't, you know.
No.
I can't imagine him as a Welsh nationalist.
He's every country but Welsh, actually, isn't he? But the only one he hasn't got blood from, looking at his DNA thing.
Yeah. Oh, he's a lad. But he said, well, we can find this king. You could do it, we can do it. You know? And he was doing the work in the early stages. He said, you know, there's got to be two of them. I thought, yeah, there's got to be two of them. He can't be 200 years old. There's got to be two of them.
Yeah.
And once you realise there's two of them,
It's just common sense, isn't it?
Oh, you're home and dry, you know. It sort of bursts upon you and think, oh, I've got this sorted, no? And there's two of them, and that's the secret. There's two of them. And then Curnew is the old name for the Cardiff area. Curnew, is it?
Yeah, not to be
It's not
confused
Cornwall.
with Curnow, which is Cornwall,
It's not Cornwall. Can you imagine a king sitting in Cornwall running Britain? I mean, no.
You just can't do it for now, can you?
It's just crackers, isn't it? Yeah? Crackers.
I suppose the other side, the Seven, has got more credibility. There's a lot of activity in Somerset and places like that, aren't there? Is that doesn't tell you?
Not really. No.
No?
They tried to expand the Cornish idea a little bit, but the evidence isn't there. I mean, the famous Battle of Baden. Huh? Well, where are you going to look for it? Well, money, Baden.
Somewhere called Baden, isn't it? Yeah.
Baden Mountain? No, you can't be there, can it? And then you go up there and there's Moist Cadlower, is the big area that's like field of battle area. That's what it says in Welsh.
Yes.
And then there's huge grave mounds because after a battle they had to get the dead buried quick to stop contagion and disease and that, you know, coming from
all
the
those
dead bodies.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter, they shoved all the dead soldiers into one grave, and then you get smaller graves where the big guy, some big general, had been buried. And it's very easy to see, honestly. And once you find that, you think, well, money to Camland. They can't find Camland Mountain. There's money to Camland. Big grave bones again. And I remember I'm going back 20, 30 years now, because we've been at this, and talking to old people, you know, because they didn't get many people in some of these areas, you know, they get more now.
Off the beaten track a bit,
more
don't
and
they?
more motorcars, but they're off the beaten track, you see.
Yeah.
And they'll chat to you, you know, come up to you. Oh, big battle up there, man. Years ago, big battle. Oh, yeah, and they knew.
Yeah.
They knew, you know. Daddy tells his son, and he tells his son, and it goes down the family.
Yeah.
And they could tell you, they won not. One fellow says, no, the enemy come on that way, and our boys were. He's describing the battle. He's describing the bloody battle to us.
Detailed accounts, yes.
Because he'd been told it and told it and told it, see?
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on Tintagel then? Because that always gets roped into this, doesn't it? And I know one of your books in Walking is mentioned as a church more than as a...
Well, Tintagel is a corruption of Dindagol, I think.
Okay.
And it's a Welsh word that's been corrupted, but I don't think it's got anything to do with anything, to be honest. Nothing in the Arthurian sense.
Right.
But there would have been...
There was a building there, wasn't it?
They would have sent their cousins and their sons to different group areas to try and dominate, you know, if they could, you know. They went up to that. But the key to it all is really the reception of King Caradoc and his family in Rome. They were normally killed. The whole Rome turned out to welcome him and fete him, you know. They married the top Roman.
Because I see the Roman history, why isn't it in the British history, isn't it?
It's in British.
Well, sorry, our official history.
It's not in the English.
Yes.
English version.
The other thing you mentioned before as well is about the martyrs as well, with the first Christian martyrs were probably related to Caradoc.
Yeah. Well,
is there two princesses?
The principal historians of the Catholic Church, Cardinal Baronius, around 1500 or 1500, Cardinal Alfred and others, and they say the Holy Family was taken into Britain in the last year of Tiberius, 36-37 AD. Now, JC gets crucified about 35-36 AD, doesn't he? Now, if he's still alive, wandering about, where would you look for him?
Where the family went to, where they said it's gone,
Where their family went to. Why did the family go to Britain? Because the ancestral roots were the same. That's why the Brits always said we're the 10 tribes. Of course, you don't read that in London and Oxford, Cambridge.
It's always been a legend, wasn't it? Even when I was a child, we talked about the lost tribes being the Welsh.
But
no one knew anything about it.
Yeah, the Welsh. And we've researched it as thoroughly as we can.
Yes.
And there's very little doubt.
There's written evidence and all
Well,
sorts
that's why
of
there was
things,
12 counties in Wales, you see. 12 zones, counties. Now there's 13. Because they took Morgannwg,
down to 8 now, aren't we?
They took Morgannwg, where the kings lived, cut it in half and said Glamorgan and went. Thank you, London. Just obscured a few things. But that's what the big king lived. And
Well, it's obscured even more now. I live in RCT officially, whatever that's supposed to be. Rhondda and Taff, you know.
oh, yeah. Well,
I still put Glamorgan on my letters and addresses, whatever difference that makes.
yeah. So, you know, really and truly, we then started looking at these idiotic Welsh histories, and not idiotic at all, and they're not trivial at all. When you start reading them and placing them in the historical era and context, the right context, then they become very different. And the one harden that the Romans had was the Welsh. They couldn't deal with them. Because they were organised and they were military. And they weren't sort of all coal miners. That's not it, you know.
I guess it's just easier to deal with them as well, I would have thought.
Well,
there's no real incentive to smash them, was there?
Well, the whole of Rome turned out to greet the British king when he was taken to Rome. The whole of Rome turned out to kinsmen, you see. And this was, all people knew this when I was young. They were getting, I mean, I was young in the 1930s, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm in the 40s. So I'm talking to people who were born in 1870 and 80, some of them. And they'd been taught all this in school, but they didn't teach it anymore.
Yes, what's amazing to me as well is you can't even find, you know, they got rid of the textbooks in 1924, I think, when they changed the syllabus. You can't even get those books, you know.
No, you know, Cardiff at the time, for some reason or other, Hay-on-Wye became the place of second-hand bookshops, but Cardiff had 5 very good second-hand bookshops. And before the TV era, people read books. People used to read books.
And learn something.
And the Cardiff libraries were well stocked, and you go in, there were people in and out, you know, and there were a lot of sub-libraries around the area. And if they didn't have a book, they try and find
one of the working men clubs used to have libraries.
Yes, they did.
Proper libraries with.
That's right. That's right. That's perfectly correct. But people don't read anymore.
Not serious books.
The bloody books, you know, that's right. And I think it's a damn shame because
autobiographies are the big sellers now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or biographies.
You educate yourself. You learn it in school, but what you're taught in school is how to educate yourself. That's what they're really telling you, if you think about it.
Well, they should tell you anyway.
Well, they should. But that was that attitude in certainly the school I went to. You know, getting equipped to get out there and keep learning. You know.
So that's a great philosophy, that is.
Well, one of the old teachers used to tell us that 2 of them. So the older guys, they were in their sort of 60s. You see what? In the war years, they had to fetch people who'd retired back into schools.
Right.
Because the younger guys were all in the army.
Yeah.
And they were waiting for them to come back again. And it took some time, 3 or 4 years after the war, to get all of them back, you know. Because they didn't all just come out of the army when the war finished.
Just go home, yeah.
It didn't happen. They had to demobilise them gradually and set up all sorts of safeguards all across Europe and Germany and one thing and the other. And the Far East. And so...
well, you don't want 500,000 unemployed men to it.
So we were being taught by men in their 70s. In the 1940s and the 70s. They're born in 1870. So their ideas were very different. And they were interesting people. And most of them had retired from being teachers and they'd mellowed a bit, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was... and we all knew they were old. And
they weren't under exam pressures like they are now, results published and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They could teach you to learn, not just pass the exam.
Yeah, well, they taught you to pass exams, but they did teach you to learn more, yes. And they were more amenable. So it wasn't a bad idea in some ways. There were 1 or 2 young men who were teaching because they were just unfit for the army. That was it. Well, I think they were embarrassed about it, but you know. But in other words, I had contact with people in my own family who were into history, if you want to know, and also with these older people who had a different slant on history, and not the modern slant at all.
Yes.
A totally different way of looking at things.
Well, you're passing on now 70 years later, something they were passing on, say, 50 years later.
Yeah.
You suddenly spanned 120 years, haven't you?
Yeah, well, they'd been brought up in an era of very few newspapers. Hardly anybody went in there. Books were very expensive in their time. It's modern era. We've got books for cheap and mass production.
Yeah, internet and
And
things.
so, you know, books were treasured and valued. You didn't throw them around. And one book they all had was the Bible. You know? So it was a different era, you see. And no books were being published during the war. They couldn't afford to
The
publish
paper and stuff, yeah.
and everything was wanted for military, you see. So they were relying on older books
Yes.
in that sense. It was
Yes, if you've got an old book, I see your point. If you've got an old book in the family, get it out and we'll look at it.
People got it out, and they got them out in the schools too.
Get some 60-year-old book out, why not? And have a read of it, yeah.
Yeah. Particularly
Yes, that's a
history.
key point there, that you're looking at not necessarily the most fashionable, up-to-date version of things.
Yeah, that's
You've
right.
got, a
Yeah.
source book, if you
Yeah.
like.
I had enough bloody brains to realise it, you know. So I was always into this history. You know. And I met my colleague, because I went into the library and I could never get this bloody book. And then he was going to the library and he could never get that book. And he said, so we met. And he told
Match
me,
made in heaven, yes.
and I told him about King Arthur and that. And he said, real? I said, yeah. Let's go find him. That's literally, I don't know if that's the right word, so let's go find him.
Yeah, that's the spirit, isn't it?
And I thought, hey, that's not a bad idea. And once you know who he is, precisely who he is, and where he was, then you've got a damn good chance, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you got a little bit for the great man himself there. Isn't that wonderful? Always good to hear Alan talk, and I got some more bits and pieces coming up, and hopefully some new stuff soon as well. It is getting a bit late tonight, and school is back on after all this time with no school, so we can't stay up so late. I know we have children watching. I've got children here as well. So anything with a Sunday evening, you do have to. Why have I put this stone up here? I can't remember. Oh, this I did want to show you quickly. This was shared by Robert John Langdon. I've got more parts of his interview coming up this week, where he's talking about how the ancient dikes could actually be ancient canals. They're fascinating. So I urge everyone to watch that. And the piece of software, the piece of software that I've given to Bob Bevans is this one. I'll put the link in the description. And what it lets you do is pick a spot, and you can work out where the sunrise and the sunset and where the sun is in proximity to where you are on certain days. You can change the dates, all that kind of stuff. So extremely useful, because tomorrow is still part of the Equinox. So get up tomorrow morning for dawn, 6 a.m. roughly, isn't it? Because it's an Equinox. Or go and see the evening one if that's easier for you, and see if you can work out from your local area more about the astrology, because I know a lot of people love the astrology side of it. I do. Goes to the root of all of it. We're going to be doing more of that soon, okay? What else we got here? Oh, this is something Michael Tomberlin shared. An online resource for getting hold of more of these books. So again, I'll be putting that on there. This is very important because it also gives... I think this ties in then what we're doing with the Colburn. By the way, last call, if anyone wants to get involved in the Colburn project, it is underway now, and I've got the volunteers. Thank you for translating stuff from Welsh. So Bob Morgan is tracking those down. So good for that. And some Swedish. Working out why Yolo got attacked, what's going on there. And I'm going to tie that in with Etruscan and see where it goes with that, okay? So hope everyone enjoyed the video. And I don't know about you, it's getting a bit late. I'm getting a bit tired as well. So we got Bob on there. This is the Whitland Abbey. And this is from Ellis, who we see as Good Grady. He's got a channel. I'd highly recommend you go and have a look. And the reason this is on there, actually, I was hoping to be there this morning to do some more video about this area and some of the stories. But that's going to have to wait a few weeks. So we will come back to that one, okay? So here's another article by Robert Langdon, which I'd recommend you go to his website and read. Loads of his stuff is free. There's loads of video downloads and stuff like this to read about. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the programme about water levels being much higher, and which makes the hydrology work for the dikes and moving things around. And it's all different ways of looking at Britain's hidden history. So we can never see the sunrise or sun in obscured ways. Right, okay, so thank you much, everyone. Oh, yeah, Oswald Black, I wanted to show this one as well. Because this, people say it's just a Welsh progress, not, well, people who can know, realise Yeah, we're talking all about Britain. Oh yeah, if you can do Scotland the Brave, Arnie, when we come to the end.
Yeah.
That's the one I'd like to hear tonight, please, because we had to put our Scottish scarves on Friday. Nothing against the French. In fact, we got more. Well, it's just as closely linked to Wales as Scotland is, and France is my second team in rugby anyway. But on Friday, if France don't stuff Scotland, then Wales are champions. But there we go. Right, now what this one is here. This is down Maiden Castle down in Dorset. So Dorset more and more important if people are following it at all. The whole idea of the arrival, the migrations, Dorset is absolutely crucial, okay? And this is Caerdydd, which you can see there. It's a very Welsh-looking name. So is anyone in that area can put some video together, perhaps, or some pictures? I'm very interested in that area, especially one of the battles, I think, where Craddock fought the Romans, all sorts of things. But if you can get there tomorrow, someone, for the Equinox, it'd be interesting just to look what the alignments are. So all you got to do, don't do too much, all right? Just try, you can tell straight away roughly which direction the sun's coming up from. It's more or less east. And then get yourself set up and have a look. See if you can see if any of these mounds align or if they are just, fairly random and military or wherever else it's supposed to be. But it's supposed to be a fantastic setup there. All right, I'm glad people enjoyed the show. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Poof, I'll leave the comments open. Thank you for the encouragement. I have to admit, I am flagging a bit this week. It was a bit of a late night. And late nights make early mornings. There you go. So thank you very much for bearing with me. And I'll put up... I've got so much more stuff I wanted to put on there, which we will save for next week, all right? Another clip from Alan Wilson. If you could check out the videos during the week, please, such as Sutton Hoo, you'll be amazed. The work that Bob Morgan's done there, and the things that between us we found out, and some new stuff. There we are. What I think it does is, even if you're not particularly interested in Sutton Hoo, what it paints is a story of how a narrative gets decided, such as this site is Anglo-Saxon, and then everything's made. That narrative just gets firmly set, and any evidence or something that comes along doesn't agree with it, it's sort of fought off. It's not an ongoing exploration and following of evidence as we try to do, okay? Right, good show, thank you very much. Will be good if we can pool what info we know about Caira, Croeseru and Glencorrwg. Yes, Mark Austin, it would be. And I think that Robert Legolas is up that way, I think. Well, I know he's definitely by Caira. I'm not sure exactly where Glencorrwg is quite near. That's Neath Valley as well, isn't it? Because that's mentioned in Arthurius Rex. Because there's the Valley of Corrwg and the Hill of Corrwg and various other things. Right, any other questions here? Back on the rugby, thank you, Gary. Yeah, I've still got the Triple Crown, yes, very good. Could someone... right, thank you, Michelle. Can someone explain next week the differences between modern Christianity and the ancient British version? Should we make that a topic for next week? Because I think it's about time we opened up the pre-orders on the Britain's Hidden Christianity book and got that off to the printers, because just about everything's done now. And if I can get it back from the printers in about 2 or 3 weeks, I can get Alan to hopefully and Baron to sign a few. Although I don't want to hold up things because of that, because who knows the restrictions that could hold the whole thing up. It would be good, wouldn't it? I sent you, yes, Gary, thank you. I did get your message about the metal detector. I will catch up with you on that tomorrow. And there's lots of places to go. Yeah, everyone, please get involved more. And also, as the restrictions lift, please start thinking about the idea of us getting together, a meeting. Let's have some sort of conference. It'd be great. And where would suit you? The only person who responded so far said London. So there you go. No response. It's going to be in London. I would suggest we have it in Southeast Wales somewhere. We can have a day trip. I thought, like, off my head, just throwing ideas, right? Everything's up for grabs and to be changed. For those who can get there on the Wednesday and Thursday, we'll have day trips and go up to see some of the sites. If people are travelling, I let people choose where they want to go. I live here, I can go and see most of these places. If we want to see St. Peter's Church or Ark of the Covenant, the Lion's Stone or the churches, or down to Llanelli Fawr, or any of these places, or go and see Lodge Hill, go and see King Arthur's Castle, all that kind of stuff. We could organise some day trips, Thursday and Friday. And then Friday evening, for people who are working, and that would come down wherever we got this, some accommodation. Friday evening, we could have a nice evening together, get to know each other, bit of food, a couple of pints, although I don't fancy that right now. So I'll be back up for it by then, and then we could have an evening, get to know each other. And then what I'd like to do is a weekend type conference with Saturday. We'd have people speaking about the different areas they're involved in. So we could have like Bob showing us what he's found with the astronomy and astrology of Clydach in that area. Maybe we could have a discussion on the Friday evening. So when we go off and have a chat and talk, we'd have a kind of a prompt to what to talk about. So on Saturday we could do all the things. And Saturday evening we'd have a chance to socialise, eat, have some food and chat and make friends really, and have a good chance to meet each other. So we've got a great little community going here and it's fantastic. And then Sunday, we could do a Sunday morning thing, then people probably start drifting back home Sunday afternoon. Something like that, I was thinking, could be, all right? So, here we are, Johnny Enigma. I was at the Arthurstone in Dawston for the last Equinox with my Mary Lloyd and loads of Morris dancers. Oh, fantastic. The Mary Lloyd, I think, is the horse's head, I think. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? So please, if anyone's doing anything like that, please. Equinoxes are so important. I'll try and do more on that next week. So next week we've already got equinoxes. Then the difference, the ancient British Christianity with the modern history Christianity. Massive differences. So we'll come back to that next week. Summer day trips. Yeah, anyone's welcome down here. I'll try and organise some. The cave is a good one too. Yeah, thank you, Robert. Yeah, what I did have organised, this lockdown, I can't remember it now, but I've got this T5, you get 9 people in it. So what my plan was, I had 3 different sort of days out planned, or 4. I can't remember the routes now, but one would sort of be up towards Tuna Glow where the Ark is, and from that you loop around the top of the hill. Oh god, which order was it? I could take you by the cave, and then you're by Corylid, and then you go down, the cave where the Arthur's body would have been, down to the Iweni. Another one would be like the churches one, so you can see Corylid, the first ever Christian church. And then down to Llantydd Major, Llantydd Fawr, to see the stones and where Ithlid was. And then the grave of Joseph Arimathea in Cardiff. And then you got going more east towards Gwent. You got towards Caerleon, then Lodge Hill, and then we could take a pitch up towards Tumbalun, which is the mound up on the hill there. So you got loops. It works out really neatly because people don't realise, I think, if you live in America or Canada or something, no idea how small South Wales is. I mean, it really is crazy. From the whole area we're talking about is probably 40 miles across by 20 miles deep. And then you got the West Wales part, which would be another separate trip, if you like. That's a bit further. But even then, you're only talking 70, 80 miles. I mean, when I lived in America for a while, people go 2-3 hours for a lunch or something. It amazed me. I'm coming from South Wales. Anything more than 3 or 4 miles away is a trip to be planned. Cardiff is 8 miles away. We'll go there for a special occasion, that kind of thing. Ross's ramblers, I just ramble. People walk. This is rambling. What I'm doing now, rambling on and on. Right, okay. So things like that. So have idea, folks. Let's try and see some light at the end of this tunnel, and then we can get together and have some fun and go out. Did you start playing? Did you start? Do you and Arnie start playing just to wind me up? Then go on, just play a little bit there. When you start playing just to wind me up. Dragged up, he is. Dragged up. Dragged up. Yeah, just waiting for you even better. Thank you, Arnie. Yeah, there we are. Amazing how children bounce back while others suffer on, isn't it? All right, well, thank you very much, everyone, and good luck to our fellow Britons up in Scotland on Sunday, and less luck to the Bretons in France on Friday. Friday. So I shall hand you over to the wonderful tuneful one over there.
Okay.
And you're going to play us out, Arnie, with something Scottish, yeah? Let's get us in the Scottish mood. Yay! Thank you very much, Arnie. I'm going to try and do my party trick now. So, until next week, and Hevu.